So actually, originally the idea came from a tweet from John Morosi. He's a broadcaster for the NHL Network, and it was noting how Lynah was one of his favorite places to watch a hockey game, college, professional, whatever level it might be. And I figured, there's been a lot of stories about Cornell hockey. Cornell hockey is really big in the area, but not a lot of people have actually covered the facility itself. So that was kind of where that idea came from. About the story, I guess it was the history of the facility. I knew it was 65 years old. I mean, I did that math originally when I looked at obviously this year and did the math for it was built in 1957. So 65 years was definitely, I didn't realize it was quite that old. I knew they had a lot of old facilities, including Barton Hall, which is, is almost a century old now. But looking at Lynah and just seeing the conditions in which it's been able to be maintained despite its age, and the fact that people love it despite that age and how it kind of helps accentuate the fan atmosphere, I think that was probably the most surprising point, just kind of how well an old facility like that can coincide with the fan experience. I guess it would have larger implications than that. You look at a lot of old ballparks, especially that come to my mind in particular, including Fenway and Wrigley Field, and you look at the history of those facilities, and there's just something about older facilities like that that enhance the fan experience. I know I talked to stadium blogger Sean Rowland, who really enjoyed a quote I brought from a 1990s edition of the Cornell Alumni Journal, in which a gentleman by the last name of Herzog wrote a really interesting piece. And one of the things he talked about was how some of these older facilities, including Lynah, have these niche elements that really help accentuate that fan experience. And I think it does have more, I would say maybe countrywide implications, but there's a lot of older, sport venues that, aren't in the back of my mind immediately around the world as well that definitely this could apply to. I think just to appreciate the history of the sporting venues you go to. I know a lot of people are, fantasize about brand new, big, up-to-date sporting facilities, and you see SoFi Stadium, which recently hosted the Super Bowl, got a lot of attention. But don't sleep on the older facilities as well, especially as you get again the Fenway Parks, the Wrigley Fields, but there's a lot of other facilities and sporting venues out there that are aging that have a lot of history to them as well. And I think to just appreciate that, and when you go as a fan, enjoy that part of the experience aside from the game as well. And kind of next time you're at a venue, kind of look at it, and especially an older one, take a look at some of those niche elements that you might not see at some of the more cookie cutter, new style parks.